Natural disasters can strike anywhere at any time, most often causing severe damages to work sites, homes, and businesses. These damages can pose severe safety risks to workers in the construction and contracting industry that are tasked with emergency infrastructure support, debris cleanup, and rebuilding. From hurricanes to wildfires and earthquakes, every natural disaster is different in its warning time frames and associated impacts. High winds, flooding, and fire can present a direct emergent threat to those on a work site, and do so quickly. It's important to have an emergency plan prepared in advance, and to closely monitor warnings, evacuation orders from authorities and local officials on impending impactful events. For some work sites and workplaces, an emergency action plan is required by OSHA. For all others, though, developing an EAP or other emergency response plan is an excellent way to keep workers safe during and after a disaster or emergency situation. Plans should be comprehensive, taking an all-hazards approach to the planning process and pre-forming a hazard assessment to determine all hazards that could cause an emergency, and outlining the processes and procedures in responding to those hazards. As part of the hazard assessment, also consider natural disaster risk factors for the worksite or workplace, such as historically common types of disasters in the area, proximities to coastal or waterfront areas, proximity to unburned fuels or unmanaged forest area, typography, and seasonal weather patterns specific to the region. At a minimum, OSHA defines that an EAP should include the following: reporting procedures for emergencies and fires, evacuation procedures with route assignments, and a diagram of the evacuation route, and the process to account for all workers after an evacuation.
Matt Murphy here.
In addition, an EAP should also include the names and contact information for internal and external stakeholders, with additional emergency information, as well as any procedures for workers who remain to perform essential or emergency services after an evacuation. Finally, any rescue or medical responsibilities for workers should be outlined. Once in place, EAPs or emergency plans should be communicated and made available to the worksite, including trainings for workers on the procedures around evacuations, assembly points, and the emergency alarm system. Should the arrival of a natural disaster or emergency be known or imminent, pay close attention to the local authorities and officials' reports regarding changing weather conditions and evacuation orders. Have emergency supplies, PPE, and communications devices, such as radios, staged should an evacuation or shelter-in-place order be called. In advance of storms or fires, secure the job site. Police the job site and reasonable area around the construction zones to assure all loose debris or equipment is removed or properly secured to prevent damages to the project or the surrounding areas. Secure and cover any work that is highly vulnerable to damage by wind or rain. Create a safety zone around the project or building. According to OSHA, remove combustible or loose material and reduce the volume of vegetation to a minimum within a 30-foot zone. Also, turn off power at circuit breakers to any temporary electric services and to homes under construction. Make sure your offices and job site trailers are properly secured, with any copies of records either removed or copied. All electronics should be backed up. Communicate any changes in planning, worksite activities, and disaster preparations to workers, ensuring that all stakeholders are aware and engaged with emergency alerts and communication systems. Natural disasters and their subsequent cleanup pose serious threats to workers, but following the proper safety precautions can alleviate many potential problems and save lives. So be prepared and ready when disaster strikes.